after this. All right, welcome back to Studio Talk. Welcome back to Studio Talk. Let's get into it, bro. All Manning versus All Dacosta Cup team will be played. The match will be played on the 14th of January. That's 7 days from now. Will be a really good game. We're going to talk about the squads. We're going to talk about the snubs. But let's do a quick recap of the season, man. How do you feel about this year's schoolboy football season? I think it was a really good one, but how do you feel about it?
Besides the season that Joe Graham would have played, of course, me bringing some magic to the Manning Cup. I think this season was the most outstanding season. We saw great football, we saw great storylines, we saw drama, we saw super teams, we saw underdog teams, we saw great coaching, we saw mistakes, and we saw triumph. It was an amazing season.
All right. From my perspective, I feel like it was a really good season. I have to say, Isan Sports, the sponsors did a really good job to make the season something for people to look forward to next year. With all of the props that they have at the games and the billboards that they put up at all of the TV games, the televised games really look good. The stardom that they built around some of the players. Like some of these players, you think that they're professionals at this point. The way they talk about them on the shows, and we did our part. Making sure that.
I was just about to say, why are you giving away our credit? I think that we did a lot in the facet of star building this season, which is very important and which is the role that we play. But I definitely think that we played a major role in bringing these players to the people.
Here we go. All right, so I'm going to put the squads up on the screen and then we're going to talk about it real quick. All right, so first up, we have the All Manning team. I'll run through it real quick, bro. You can put it up on the phone. So we have Rasico Rose and Akeem Bernard as the two goalkeepers. I don't know why they went with two sides to you. I think most teams will go with two, but they have to. Not fight it. I guess more outfield players to see. Michael Graham from JC, the defender, really good player. Romain Blake from Jamaica College also. Xavier Davids, the second from Jamaica College also. Those are the three defenders from JC. Then you have Blaine Byrne from Kingston College, Dan Hugh Mitchell from Mona High School, and Rashard Frankson from Stats.
Interesting.
Those are the defenders for the All Manning team. For as far as the forwards go, we have Javier Lynch from Jamaica College. We have Macon Aldridge from Jamaica College. We have Dujan Richards from Kingston. We have Dujan Richards from Kingston College. We have Zane Pinnock from Mona High School. Andre Salman, Omar Reed, and Shaquan Satchwell from Stats. Then we have Jawan Payne from Haile Selassie High. We have Jamali Bennett from Jamaica College. Kevin Wilson from Jamaica College. Damoy Whitfield from Mona High School. I think that's a really good selection. Mikael Ellis from St. Catherine High. Nicoy Gale from Stats. And Daniel Watson from Tivoli Gardens.
Now we talk about this team.
Man, we have to talk about it real quick. First of all, let's talk about the goalkeepers. Rasico Rose and Akeem Bernard. I feel like those are showings. Those are one of the first names on the paper. Those are the two best goalkeepers in the Manning Cup this year. How do you feel about those two selections?
I think those are the best two goalkeepers in terms of who is the best goalkeeper. But we've seen years where Luka Modric manages to win that Ballon d'Or over the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, and Messi. We've seen years where the best player in a particular position is not necessarily the best player on the season. And well, I guess it's a hard one. It's a hard one to have the stats goalkeeper not be included after such an outstanding Manning Cup, especially knockout stages. He was absolutely outstanding, and I think Young Williams might be a bit gutted to not have been included in this squad.
Yeah, I'm wondering why did they go with two goalkeepers instead of three? Most teams will see with three goalkeepers, even though you will not see three play.
So in the Manning Cup, they allot spots for two goalkeepers.
Yeah, on the bench.
So this is, I guess, based on the Manning Cup standard, not the international standard, because it's the same method of squad selection as you would do throughout the season, and there are only two goalkeepers that can be registered on any given day. So I guess that's why I opted to go with 2.
Here. Jaime Williams for stats. You mentioned him a while ago as one of the biggest snubs, on this team. I feel like he definitely should have made this team on performance. What he did for his team, whenever we see stats without him, we see a different team. And that's not even because he affects the way they play football, but the security that he gives them at the back. Those defenders, those outfield players, knowing that they can count on him to make a save, knowing that they can count on him to steal a point here or there, to win them all three, is a very important thing. And going with them all the way to the finals, going to the semi-finals of the Champions Cup, that's a big deal. And him not making the squad, it's really hard. But I don't think I would, remove Rasika Rose or Hakeem Bernard to give Jaime Williams a spot. But he deserves a mention. I have to mention him.
Well, Hakeem Bernard decided Sports TV's goalkeeper of the season. And both Rasika Rose and Williams made a strong case for that award. Hakeem Bernard narrowly edging them out because of his stuff other than his goalkeeping, which I think would have given him the edge for that award. But it's tough on young Williams. As I said, I think he deserves a spot, but if there are only 2 spots, it's hard, right?
It's very hard. Let's talk about the 3 Jamaica College defenders. We have Michael Graham, Remain Blake, and Xavier Davis in the second. 3 good defenders, 3 are the best defenders in Manning Cup this year for sure. As wing back, Michael Graham goes under the radar, but he's a really, really good player. And Xavier Davidson and Remain Blake really and truly picks themselves. For me, I don't know about you, but those defenders must be there if we're going to select an all-Manning team.
Yeah, and as I said, I wasn't necessarily keen on any of the wing backs this season in Manning Cup, and as such, no wing back was able to make our team of the season because we weren't keen on the wing back. We just believed that 4 central defenders, who are all here, I might add, would have deserved a spot in our 11. But as far as wing backs go, I think Michael Graham is the pick of the bunch. So if you're selecting a team and wing backs have to be included, I think you cannot look past Michael Graham. However, I definitely think that a centre back, the likes of Xavier Gooden, would have been better suited in a squad like this over the likes of Michael Graham. I genuinely believe that this year was a year of the centre back and not a year of the wing back. And as such, I would put square pegs into round holes. It's an all-star game after all, and I think the best should be selected, and it's a travesty that Xavier Gooden was not selected.
Yeah, and I think Xavier Gooden, especially when we see his teammate Rashad Frankson in the team. Now I heard some whispers going around that a lot of the players that were selected into the under-17 team, or the players that are in the under-17 team, seeing that they're at a training camp and they might not be available for this game, they were not selected. They were thinking about Nashard Gibbs and Denzel Washington McKenzie and Xavier Gooden, some of the really good players. None of them made this team. No player from the under-17 team in this squad. And even under the Dacosta Cup side, some players that are at the under-17 training camp, they are not in the Dacosta Cup All-Star team. So we can bear that in mind now, speak about it, but if we're going to disregard that, which we can do also, Xavier Gooden must be in this team, especially
in a situation like that. What should happen is he should get selected to the team, and then a replacement is sought out for him. He should have been selected and then be replaced upon his unavailability. But there's no way that this team is going to be posted for years to come, and people are going to look back and say this was the 2022 All Manning Cup team.
You'll be on the CV.
Xavier will not be on it. Exactly. So those names have to be included, whether or not they'll be available to play, in my opinion.
Yeah, because right now, as it stands, Xavier Gooden is not a Jamaican high school all-star. He's not. And that is madness. For anybody that watched schoolboy football this year knows that doesn't make any sense. So Xavier Gooden, I would say, is the biggest star of this all-star team. What do you think?
He will be back. He'll be back next year though, and he'll be leading the team out this year. I'm curious to see who will be leading this team out though. So many leaders and a lot of team captains are here. We see the likes of Blaine Byam and Hakeem Bernard and Xavier Davidson. There are a lot of team captains on this team. Like, who do you think will lead this team out?
To lead the team. It just might be Xavier Davidson. They might give it to the winning team. Give the captaincy to the winning team.
And we never spoke about who we think will start, the likes of Rosika Rose and Akeem Bernard.
But we're gonna do a starting lineup after. We just go through the squad right now, talk about the
All
snubs,
right.
and then we're going to talk about the starting lineup. We also have Dan Hugh Mitchell and Rashad Francis to round out. I mentioned Rashad Francis a while ago, but Dan Hugh Mitchell also one of the players that fixed himself, scoring 20 goals in the Manning Cup as a defender, while also playing well in his defensive role. So
Oh my
Dan Hugh
goodness,
Mitchell,
outstanding. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
as it relates to the attacking players, Javier Lynch, I
Yeah.
think Javier Lynch being included over the likes of Brian Burkett,
Yup.
that's something that I'm not really sure how I feel about. Brian Burkett, though playing in a team that did not do very well or as well as they were expected to do, Brian Burkett was stellar in every step he made. Every single thing he did was outstanding. He started in a forward position because of George's lack of depth in attacking positions and solid midfield ability, and he scored many goals. When he dropped off, he absolutely bossed the game. Brian Burkett is one of the best players in Jamaican schoolboy football right now, and I think this would have been his first shot to have made this team because of COVID and so on and so forth. It's
Mhm.
unfortunate that he will not be playing in the National Stadium on the weekend.
You say you're not sure about how you feel about it. I'm sure, man. I don't like it. Brian Burkett not making this team is, decisions are awful decision. Yes, Javier Lynn scored a lot of goals for JC. He did well for Jamaica College, but when it came to crunch time, he did not start those games, and his goals dried up in the crunch time of the competition. No, Brian Burkett didn't make it to those parts of the competition, but he also scored a lot of goals. At one point, he was the leading goal scorer. In the I think in the middle of the first round before we took off. At some point, he was the standout player in the Manning Cup. We were doing shows and having Brian Burkett leading the topic. So I feel like this is one of the biggest snubs also. Especially in a team that is so forward heavy, it's top heavy. We see a lot of forwards on the team. We're going to go through it. In fact, they listed, some players as midfielders who are forwards.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, why not include one of the most versatile players that could have made the squad, Brian Burkett, who can play as a forward or as a midfielder, as a number 8 or as a number 10 or as a centre forward. So I don't
Exactly.
necessarily like this pick. There are some players, not only Javier Lynch, but there are some players that he could also make it over. Another player in the team is Bakwan Aldridge. I have no problems with that one. I have no problems.
Yeah. McConnell is another player that made our team of the season. Outstanding player, big and strong and fast and versatile. And is a fan favorite. The people love McConnell and McConnell loves the people. People want to see that braided hair and that headband and those gloves and that flair. Definitely one for an All-Star game. Well deserved McConnell. No qualms, complaints, or queries at all about that selection.
Yeah, I like McConnell as a player, and one thing I really like about him is he's kind of a showman. I
Mhm.
can't say he's show off or anything, but he enjoys the game. And when McConnell is enjoying his football, we always get a really good game.
He's enjoying his football. We are enjoying his football. Let's just say that.
Exactly. And if he's on it on this day, we'll get a really good All-Star game from McConnell. He's one of those players that are built for an All-Star game. The D
Um,
player.
yeah,
that I
could he be the one to wear the captain armband to lead out the team, though not being a captain this season? I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
All
Tell
right.
the MVP the best player in the season, and All-Star game. Slap the armband on the guy and send him out. Don't you think?
I wouldn't be surprised. But the player, we mentioned a while ago that Macon Aldridge could be, what the player for an All-Star game, but the player for the All-Star game,
For any game.
for any game, is Dujan Whisper Richards. He'll definitely start in this game. And I'm expecting a really good one. This player, is the first name. I said that Akim Bernard and Rosika Rose were one of the first names. This is the first name on the paper. This is the first name on the team sheet. This is the first name for the 20. This is the first name on any schoolboy list in the country. How do you feel about this?
He will be the number 10.
You'll definitely be the number 10.
Yeah, he'll get the number 10 shirt. And trust me, this is a team with a lot of number 10s on it.
He'll get any number he wants, bro. If he wants a number 1, then I'm telling you, Whisper will have the number 1.
And the likes of Zane Pinnock, outstanding season, Salman, Omar Reed. Those guys were all guys who I don't necessarily think were the best player on their team, but all did ridiculously well in order to get their team in the positions that their team needed to be in. You talk about Zane Pinnock playing on a team with Akeem Bernard and Don Hugh Mitchell, but Zane Pinnock was definitely one of the leaders on that team. I think probably the third or the fourth best player on that team, but an outstanding player and a senior player, and he played as such. Really matured from last season, deserved his spot. Omar Reed the same. Just an absolute baller. Underrated, the most underrated player in the whole Manning Cup this year for me. Omar Reed, I'm so happy he gets his spot. But another man that we have to take a one stop, as they would say when coming off of a taxi on, is Shaquan Satchel. Have to speak about this guy at length.
Yeah, and I think he's one of the players that will also give us a great game. Shaquan Satchel, he's the man for St. Andrew Technical High School, and he's not shy about it. He's the best player on the team. He's one of the best players in the Manning Cup. Definitely top 2, and I don't think he's 2 at the moment. Shaquan Satchel is also a player built for a star game. I think we will know when Shaquan Satchel is on the pitch. And I want to see the stats supporters come out and give this kid a shot. It's his last year of schoolboy football. So I'm sure he'll get minutes. And I just want to see him on the ball, see him do well. You spoke about what he means to the St. Andrew Technical High School team, and that alone puts him into the squad, along with the fact that he scored double-digit goals and got double-digit assists. So Shaquan Satchel, one of the players that also picks himself in this team.
Should get the number 7 shirt.
Number 7.
Yeah, that's the number he wore, and I don't see anybody contesting him for his regular number. So we have Payne Bennett. Those 2 guys, I think, will be peripheral players in the squad. But make it to the team.
I have a problem here. Payne and Bennett are good players, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I like them as players. But when we talk about Ramarian Thomas from Mona High School, one of the most versatile players in schoolboy football this season. When we talk about Samuel Shakes, also one of the star men for Kingston College. Come on. Are these really the 2 best midfielders to select over Ramarian Thomas and a Shaquan Satchel over Saviola? No, not Shaquan Satchel, but Samuel Shakes and Saviola Blake. Man, have huge problems at the midfield area, man.
Yeah, I think the only one I'm really impressed that they got, and I think they got it right, was Damar Whitfield. But then I think they got so many other ones wrong. I thought Damar Whitfield would not have gotten these plaudits because of the type of role that he plays. And in Jamaica, his abilities tend to go underappreciated. So I'm very happy to see Damar Whitfield from Mona into this team, the heartbeat of the Mona High School team. But then so disappointed not to see Ramarian Thomas. And even more disappointed not to see one of this or that Sports TV's fan favorites, Samuel Shakes. Samuel Shakes, an outstanding player, a cerebral player, a player who takes as little touches as possible to get the maximum reward from these touches. A player that was a driving force in Kingston College getting to where they got to. Samuel Shakes has to be in this All-Star team.
Scoring one of the goals of the season.
Yeah.
In a very important quarterfinal game. Also, Saviola Blake. If you're going to have Jamali Bennett in the squad, they play on the same team. And Saviola Blake, I feel like, was a more important part of that JC team. So I don't quite understand that selection. I feel like Saviola Blake should have made that slap. But let's speak about some of the other midfielders in this squad. We have Kevin Wilson.
Saka, very good player, one of the standout players. Jamaica College's playmaker and creator. They relied on him heavily this season, and without him, I don't think they would have been in the same team. And I'm not sure if amidst all these other superstar players, if he'll get a start.
Yeah.
But definitely well-deserved selection for this All-Star team, for sure.
Yeah, I like that selection. He's one of the players that can go under the radar very easily. So the fact that the people responsible for picking this team selected him, I'm happy with that. Nikhil Ellis from St. Catherine High, in the early parts of the competition, was lighting it up, going double digits goals early, and being the star man for St. Catherine High. So I don't mind that selection. Nikhil Gale and Daniel Watson rounds it out. Again, not star name players, but players that did well for their school.
Daniel Watson a big baller. I'm so happy that he got included from Tivoli Gardens. He wreaked havoc and he was so good on the wings for his team, creating so much havoc, getting so many squares in, scoring some goals. Really good inclusion. I'm very impressed with that one. Big up to Watson from Tivoli.
Yeah. Overall a good team. All these players on this team are ballers. Really, really good players. People, you heard the snubs, the people that we think that should have made this team and didn't make the team. Who do you think are some of the players that should have made it? Tell us your snubs. Tell us who you're most excited to see in this game. And we'll tell you right now, bro, who are you looking forward to seeing in this game? Because this side of Sports TV will be there, correct?
That is it. Whisper, Shaka, Akeem Bernard or Sika Rose, I think both of them will play. Akeem Bernard will have fun. I love that about him. I'm also looking forward to seeing Romain Blake. I think Romain Blake will really do a lot of theatrics on the field because he's doing that in high pressure final situations. So I can't imagine what he'll do in a no pressure all-star game. We definitely look forward for pile and salad from Romain Blake from the back. I expect. Should be a very good game. You want to run through a starting 11 real quick?
Let's do it. Akeem Bernard starts for me.
Well, he was the decider at Sports TV's goalkeeper of the season, so I guess by default I have to start him. Akeem Bernard gets the start.
Yeah.
I think for he will enjoy himself and he'll dance and he'll be jovial. But I think Rasika Rose can provide more, like in terms of footballing wise, passing the ball over the top. But Akeem Bernard with that 100-yard goal kick, for sure. Yeah, we want to see that in an All-Star game. So Akeem Bernard starts for me.
There we go. The defenders, I am going Romain Blake, Xavier Davidson, Donhue Mitchell, and Blaine Bayam. Blaine Bayam left, Romain Blake on the right. So
Yeah, I wouldn't start. I did it in my team of the season, but I wouldn't start centre backs at wing backs in this team.
Blaine Bayam is a left back, He played left back for KC last year.
Yeah, well, he played centre back this season for Kingston College, and Michael Graham is a left back. So I would have to start Michael Graham at the left back if we're using left back position. Me personally, had I coached this team, I'd probably use 3 central defenders. But I would use Michael Graham. I would use Romain Blake at right back. And then I would use Xavier Davidson and Blaine Bayam as my two. Xavier Davidson and Donhue Mitchell as my 2 central defenders. That's how I would start off the team. So Blaine Bayam wouldn't necessarily make the pick for this one. I'd go with Michael Graham, considering that he's a true left back, and I think Romain Blake would have been the best right back had he played right back. Simple as that. And then
in the midfield, let me hear your midfield.
My midfield, and I would start with Adama Whitfield. I think he's underrated. He was one of the best central defensive midfielders in the competition this year. He competed with the likes of Saviola Blake, who is not there. Samuel Shakes can play deep, who is also not there. So I would start Adama Whitfield.
This one is hard. The attacking midfielder. I think I'm going to.
I would start Damware Whitfield. I guess Ellis, based on everything that he's offered. Start Damware Whitfield, Ellis, and I would start Shakwan Satchel in the midfield.
That's the exact midfield I would go for also.
Yeah.
The attacking line for me though would be, didn't ever mention Whisper, but the other 2 positions would be Shakwan Satchel. And I think this is the one. It has Zane Pinocchio or Makwan Aldrich for me. I'm going Makwan Aldrich and Zane off the bench. But yeah, those are the 3 players.
I had Shakwan Satchel in my midfield, so I would go Dijon Richards, Makwan Aldrich, and Zane.
Oh, you said Shaka, not Saka.
Yeah, Shaka, not Saka. Yeah.
Yes, I'd go Saka.
Yes, I'd go Shakwan Satchel, Zane Pinocchio, and Dijon Richards as my 3 forwards.
Here we go. Did they mention a coach? Like who would take charge? But I'd assume that it would be David Ferguson.
Yeah, that would be, I think, par for the course. I think that would be perfectly justified if those would be 2 coaches.
Yeah. Alright, people, that's the first segment of Studio Talk. It's Al Manning versus Al Dacosta game. Really good one. This side at Sports TV will be there. People, before we continue, don't forget to like this one. Leave a comment on the video and subscribe to this side at Sports TV. Do one more thing though.
Share the video to at least 10 people, but ensure to get us just 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that will get us? by the end of the day, people.
There we go. People, student talk. And the next segment, we'll be talking about some reggae boys. It's our favorite topic, people. So stay tuned after this one.